Rather than lads, welcome back to Cossy Arsenal Podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. And in this video, we have a problem to solve. What is the problem? The problem is that Arsenal cannot sell. Mikel Arteta has already identified his key summer signings this summer. A couple of them have already started signing for Arsenal, and more incomings will be landing at the Emirates Stadium very, very soon. However, for the rebuild to happen, for the rebuild to complete, Arsenal need to get out some players through the door, players that they feel are unworthy and players that are not in the manager's plans. The problem is that Arsenal cultivated a very big menace, chaos around 5-6 years ago when we signed in players that actually were never going to be the quality of a big club. Now we have to move them on. They're earning high wages and we are asking for a lot of money in them. You cannot believe that Arsenal at the moment cannot sell their record signing Nicolas Pepe to any club. And despite the fact that the club has said we will agree to a loan deal, no club is interested at the moment. Now, in this video, I will try to suggest one club that every player we want through the door should go to. And trust me, they should go. In the comment section, you're going to join me by telling me which player I am really, really selling and you think he should be staying. But also, the conversation on this one should rotate around Nicolas Pepe. We cannot fail to sell our record signing. This is the worst piece of transfer business that any club has ever done. Look, I mean, talk to me. Apart from Chelsea signing Romelu Lukaku, have you ever seen a worse piece of transfer business than Nicolas Pepe signing for Arsenal for 72 million, and then 3 years later, no club is interested in signing the player even on loan? I would love also you to tell me in the comment section whether we should terminate Nicolas Pepe's contract, because I thought about it, honestly. I think I was too harsh, but I thought about Arsenal terminating Nicolas Pepe's contract because in the club's hierarchy and plans, I don't see him there. Let's get this video to 800 likes. Subscribe to the podcast as well. We're very, very close to 53,000. We are actually on the road to 53. We are not very close. So keep on subscribing and hitting the like button. Now, let's start off with Reiss Nelson. One player that has come through Arsenal's academy. He's played on loan last campaign with Feyenoord, and that is where I'm suggesting Arsenal should try and sell him. Now, the good thing with Reiss Nelson is that he did very, very well on loan at Feyenoord. They want him back on another loan deal. In my opinion, Arsenal should just talk to them, make sure that the player, the player's contract has an obligation to buy. He's not a bad player, but I do not think he has a future at Arsenal. Arsenal have already made sure that everyone knows that he's already up for sale. Feyenoord is not a bad destination for Reiss Nelson. Probably he would love to stay in and around the UK. So a move to the Championship, if there is a club interested, wouldn't be that bad. But I think Feyenoord just fits him very, very well. He knows the environment there. He's been there a couple of, I think he has made a couple of friends. That is, if he has made any. And it's just going to help him develop further and further as a footballer. In the future, I see him develop into a footballer for West Ham, Leicester City, and not Newcastle. But Reiss Nelson to Feyenoord, guys, I think that is the real deal. I don't think he's going to find a better deal than that this summer. Now, Nicolas Pepe, Arsenal's record signing. We've talked about Pepe in the introduction of the video, and I'm not going to say much about him. But the fact that we cannot sell our record signing is absolutely a shambles, an absolute shambles. But Nicolas Pepe, I've suggested here in this video that he should be going back to Lille Metropole. And in this one, I'm not really thinking about Lille Metropole buying the player because they cannot afford 72 million. But I'm talking about a deal where we can structure a swap deal, a player plus cash deal, or anything like that. I think Nicolas Pepe at the moment is around 25 to 30 million euros, to be honest. Arsenal are interested in a couple of Lille Metropole players. That is Edon Zagrova and Onana. So if we can get to structure a deal where Onana and Edon Zagrova cross over to Arsenal and we can let go of Nicolas Pepe. I don't know whether they still want him, but in my opinion, they're a club that got the best out of him, and he's a club you would be very, very happy and welcome to return to. So him going back to Lille Metropole, I don't think that's a bad deal. And then Arsenal signing in a player that we know we will definitely need in this upcoming summer, in Onana, a defensive midfielder, and also Edon Zagrova, a winger that we are trying to sign in this campaign. Both of them combined, they could go for around 35 million euros or even less than that, but I don't think Pepe is above 30 million euros as well. If I'm too harsh, then let me know in the comments below. Now, moving on, Ainsley Maitland-Niles, Nottingham Forest. Now, I don't remember so many clubs interested in Ainsley this summer, but last summer, Everton were very, very keen on signing the player. Now, the truth is that Ainsley Maitland-Niles is a very, very good player, especially the fact that he's a very, very versatile one. But I don't think there's so many clubs that are really going to be willing to give him the kind of, liberty to maraud through their midfield with very, very minimal quality. So, if he wants to save his career, in my opinion, one, he needs to nail down to a position where every manager feels that is where he plays best. Very, very versatile. Can play on the left, can play on the right, can play down through the middle. But for me, his best position, his best numbers have come when he's playing as a right back. So, Nottingham Forest are interested. The problem is the wages. Now, I don't know how Arsenal can't get this one over the line, but in my opinion, Ainsley should do himself a favor and get out of Arsenal now. I don't think he's going to find any more game time better than he found last campaign. If he doesn't want to go, then it's okay. We can terminate his contract. But I think Nottingham Forest will be a very, very good team for him. They're going to give him the game time. They're going to give him the love. They will give him the trust because the player who's played in the Premier League. So he brings that kind of experience to a team that has just been promoted to the Premier League. That is very, very good analysis. Very good. Moving on, there is Pablo Mari. Pablo Mari has had a very, very successful loan spell to Udinese. They want to keep him for another long season. And I think his contract has 1 or 2, I think 2 years left at Arsenal. Arsenal want to sell him. And a couple of clubs in Spain and Milan were interested in the player, but all the links have actually cooled down at the moment. Udinese is the club that is recently come out and said, we would love to take him if we can agree a deal. The problem with this one is that Arsenal are looking for a lot of money in Pablo Mari. Just let him go. Honestly, just let him go. I would let him go for £3 million. So, in my opinion, Arsenal should just sit down with Udinese, either allow the player to go back for another season with an obligation to buy, or if Arsenal can get to agree a deal with Udinese where we sell the player this summer, then it would be a very, very good one. But of course, I don't think with Pablo Mari, I think we'll find a club even in Spain, but it will take time. And Udinese are ready to take on the burden. Just pass on the burden. Now, Lucas Torreira, one that is very, very complicated. Gosh, I've never seen a transfer that is as complicated as Lucas Torreira's. The player wants to play for River Plate. Clubs interested in him are in Italy, but he also wants to go to Spain. Very, very complicated. But this is what I would say with this one. In my opinion, Lucas Torreira should go back to Fiorentina. What, Cossy? They said they don't want to give us 20 million euros. And that is the point. Why are we asking for 20 million euros in Lucas Torreira? No one is going to give us that money. No one is willing to give us that money. And the money we are trying to turn down at the moment, when the player has 2 years left on his contract, 10, 11, 12 million euros, that money will actually not be available next season when his contract has 1 year to go. River Plate are interested very much, but they do not have the money that Arsenal are asking for. And even if we lowered the price to around £11 million, they will not be willing to pay that money. Now, Fiorentina have been a little bit stubborn and foolish to bid around £7 million for the player. But if we sat down with them, agreed a deal with them, I'm very, very sure they can agree to €8 million plus some few bonuses on top, which could really need an Arsenal compromise, which I think we should be doing. Lucas Torreira has already said he doesn't want to play in the Premier League anymore, and he would rather even get out of Europe if the worst goes to the worst. I don't see why Arsenal really want to keep him around. So Lucas Torreira to Fiorentina. He loves the club. He's been there on loan. He's done very well. Let's sell him there, honestly. Yeah. Now, Nuno Tavares. This one, lads, is a loan deal. Marseille are interested, and a couple of other clubs as well, including Atalanta and Real Sociedad. Wow, I remembered that. Now, the problem with Olympique Marseille is that when we give them our players, they give them game time, and that is a very, very good part of the deal. But they are really, really hungry. They want to steal the players that we give them on loan. It happened with William Saliba. But in this one, I think Nuno Tavares needs that kind of game time, the experience, and also needs the exposure to European football. I'm not talking about UCL and Europa League. I'm talking about playing on a more regular basis in Europe. His problems are decision-making, and also I think he's so error-prone. So if he goes to a club like Marseille, probably he could be nurtured into a good player. There is a player in there for Nuno Tavares. Inside Nuno Tavares, I see a player in there, but a player who needs game time and a player who needs an environment that is actually going to be favorable. So a loan move to Marseille would not be very bad. Marseille are also looking at Nicolas Tagliafico, but in my opinion, give them Nuno Tavares. They have already proven that they can do well with players on loan. We've done it with Matteo Guendouzi and William Saliba, and we've seen they will give your player game time and they will nurture him. Now, my problem with Atalanta is that the competition there, Atalanta is a top club as well in Italy. He might go to Atalanta and might not catch up with the competition there. And my problem with Real Sociedad is that Spanish defenses are shit. So I don't want him to go there and become as soft as I don't know. But yeah, so Marseille would be the best fit for me for Nuno Tavares. Now moving on to this man, Cedric Soares. Yeah, ruthless, free. Absolutely free. Now, I couldn't even think about a club that would take Cedric Soares. He's not the worst player in our squad, actually. And I reckon that he will stay under Mikel Arteta. Arteta just loves some players. At the moment, he's the only player that gives us that bit of versatility with Ben White. But of course, he's a more versatile player than Ben White, playing on the left, on the right, down through the middle as well. And he can play as a centre half. So, to be honest, this guy is a shambles. He is an absolute shambles. I don't know why many Arsenal fans are really, really sold onto the idea that he's a good player. He's not. Inside there is no good player. I would definitely terminate his contract before we get into the Sid Kolasinac stages. Hector Bellerin wants to go to Real Betis. Give him the move. I mean, we are trying to sell the guys that have nowhere to go. We cannot be blocking any players' moves. The problem is that Real Betis do not want to pay close to €20 million that Arsenal asking for in the player. It is okay. Let us talk with Real Betis. He's done well there on loan. Arsenal have no plans. I've seen Mikel Arteta make him captain in preseason again. It's disgusting for me. But anyway, with Hector Bellerin, a couple of clubs are interested actually, including Juve and Villarreal. Many clubs are willing to pay the price, but the player doesn't want them. He only wants Real Betis, and in my opinion, give him that. Take him to Real Betis and make sure he never comes back to the Premier League. Now, Leno has already found an agreement with Fulham. They want to sign him on a permanent deal. I think it's going to be until 2025. We are in 2022. So those are 3 years, right? Plus an extra year. Those are 4 years. That's a lucrative deal. Is lucrative the word? That's a humble deal. But the problem is that West Ham also do not want to pay the 10 to 11 million pounds that Arsenal asking for in the player. I think West Ham are being absolutely not economical. They're being, I don't know. They're just trying to cheat us. I think Leno, if any club were to sell him, if you are signing him from Bayern or Manchester City, you would pay in excess of 20 million euros. He's a player who is absolutely over the top, and he would bring that kind of leadership and experience to Fulham, a club coming from the Championship, but trying to find that experience and that caliber of players that can lead the way for them to stay in the Premier League. So they have an agreement with the player, no agreement with Arsenal. I don't think that will be a problem. They will find one, but maybe Arsenal need to compromise. I don't feel like we need to compromise. They should raise their offer. But Leno to Fulham, the player already wants to go there. You don't agree terms with a club you don't want to play for, so he's agreed to play for them. Fulham just need to agree a price with Arsenal. And then finally, Alexandre Reyna. There is nothing to say here, lads. There is nothing. I won't say anything here. Nothing. I thought about Nicolas Pepe. I'm sorry. Reyna is the worst piece of business Arsenal have ever done. No. He's the worst piece of business any team would ever do under the sun. We signed a player. The circumstances under which we signed him, I really cannot explain. But I remember we signed him, and it was an absolute shambles. Now, he went out on loan, I think it was in Turkey last season. I really didn't look at any scout reports and statistics, so I cannot say he did well. But if we have a chance of terminating his contract now, do it now. He's back with the team, and I think they should be talking to him. I think we should do what Xavi has done. All these 10 players should not be training with the team. They should find new clubs. He's done it with Neto, the likes of Samuel Umtiti. He's told them, you don't have to join our preseason. You're not part of us. Find a new team. Arsenal should be that ruthless. But anyway, I hope I've done a good job in trying to offload the deadwood.